Well, welcome back to the shed at the start of June, and I wish I could tell you that so much has gone on in the last 4 or 5 weeks that we've been missing, but the truth is it hasn't. Post-COVID, I really suffered from any motivation of getting out here and doing anything, so the shed's been rather cold. I've done a few bits and pieces and played with a few things, but to be honest, my heart's really not been in it, and it's only in the last couple of weeks that I've kind of got back to it. The story sightings have been rather silent. No wheels have turned. The passengers are sitting waitingly in the trains, and the freight is sitting probably going off in the vans. I did run a few trains like this 25 on a through freight. It might even be a fitted freight looking at it. I really have struggled to connect with the layout. And in the opposite direction, carrying J head codes, really in empties, made up of some of the new vans that have been acquired, yet to be painted. As you can see, there's nothing really been done at the permanent way yard end here, really through lack of motivation. The look of Yarslow here with its green and mustard, very much as you left me after Easter. I did in an odd moment sort of mock up these offices for Trinity Square. Quite sure why I did that, but I did make this building, the roof line's all wrong, but this is framer's card again, just to see what this would look like. And if nothing else, it does cover the controller J area as it's intended to do. No changes really at Trinity Square, I'm afraid. The platform's very much as you left them last. The parcels train is new, and I did manage to sort out an irritating wiring problem with this point here, so now I've got that fixed. And I did a bit of servicing of some of the Trinity Square engines that reside on the shed. Nothing changes, as I say, at Yarslow, very few changes here. My head has been totally consumed, and one of the reasons I've suffered with motivation is this stuff. This is point rodding, Will's point rodding. There's about 40 or 50 kits of point rodding here, and this has been driving me absolutely mad. And it's no real surprise that I've suffered from a lack of motivation to walk out and think I've got another 20-30 feet of this to do with all these joints and unions and all the rest of it. It's going to look great, but it has been driving me absolutely bonkers. I've cut across the track, as you can see there. I've got a short run up to a branch point there, and then these 3 rods for the engine shed point and facing point knocks go all the way up there, and that's about 2 days work just putting all those together. It really does drive you mad. Here's the signal box end of it all. I've got the cranks now for the branch end done. I've got the rods going under the track as well, but I haven't started on those going to the right. I'm actually contemplating putting a second signal box in. Now, the ones coming towards the camera here will pass again under the tracks and serve that crossover number 8, and then the points on the goods line, which would be under the control of the signalman. You can see the rods passing under the track to serve the brake van siding, the trailing slip, and later on the feed off the end of the loop. And then somehow I've got to get it all past this platform. What I have managed to do with the paintbrush is to finish off painting the station building. I said I was going to. And the last few days, when the motivation really has returned, I've managed to build this back wall behind the platform that now matches the finished overbridge. This is covered, painted. You can see those Will's castings, Victorian castings, look really lovely. I haven't painted them yet. Brickwork parapets. I've got some pavement on. The pavement isn't finished, and of course the road needs painting, but you can see how the road will go across the top. The ramp down to the left behind the brick wall to serve the station I've got a bit of filling in to do behind that wall in there, just to lose that void. And then on the right I've got room for this pub or something that's going to sit there. And as the bridge has evolved, I've had to just change the landform. I've got a bit more brickwork to do. There's been no changes on the branch. It's been very quiet here. There's been no trains. What I have done is played around with the colouring of the stone. I wasn't happy with the stone colour, so I've given it a brush over with a much lighter colour, and it's going to be dry brushed again with a darker grey and a bit of green at the river level. Much happy with that. And I have weathered the bridge sides. These resin sides that were just painted grey have now been given a rust wash, and they look an awful lot better than they did. In my moments of not really wanting to do anything, I also got round to finishing the painting and weathering of some of these buildings. This is the scratch built loading bay with its sliding door. Then the Daypole engine shed. It's no longer an engine shed, painted and weathered. That's a Will's garage kit that looks quite nice, weathered. And finally the boiler house, yet devoid of its chimney, but the boiler house with the owner's Isetta parked outside. The platform at Butter Bump, this is Mark II. The first one I took up, didn't like it. This surface is very, very fine ballast. Haven't painted the side slabs yet, but the top, I'm really liking that. That's painted in Humbrol acrylic. I haven't done the other end. It's number 106, in case you hadn't noticed. I run out of paint, but just to remind myself what I was doing. And that's going to look okay. It's got a lovely texture to it. It's a very fine, like fine sand, the texture. And I think that is going to look fine. The building needs to be bedded in, but pleased with that. Really pleased with the way that came out. Anybody who owns any of these Bachmann B1s will know that they suffer from wheel problems. These plastic innards of the metal wheels deform out of shape, stop the coupling rods going round. I've got 6 in the fleet and they've all done it on most wheels. So I have spent a couple of afternoons just basically taking those plastic wheels out and bashing them back into shape. They need trimming to fit back inside. But all 6 are now running well and have been rostered back onto mainline trains in the storage sidings. I have a branch freight engine. This is the stopping freight engine, will also run the branch. This is one of my Class 4 260s, lovely runner, so it's been allocated to that duty. And I've got back to trying to run trains, clean the layout thoroughly, trying to make everything run as well as I can. I've repaired some of the points that weren't running properly. So this is my J39 bringing an unfitted freight through middle junction underneath the branch line, around onto the layout. Everything has been serviced and oiled and cleaned. You'd be amazed, having left the layout for 3 or 4 weeks, how much filth actually accumulated on the layout. So I ran it round with my track cleaner and a hoover, and the amount of filth and dust is unbelievable coming into the hoover. These pictures were taken before the branch was finished, so before the bridge was finished, so you can see the method of construction with the framer's card covered in plastic card, and in the foreground you can see that card making up into an abutment. I had to relay this particular line. It was giving me problems. The trains on the down main line were beginning to hit the down one storage loop for some reason. Why I didn't give that more space, I don't know. The stopping passenger trains don't stop because there's no platform and no people, but they will in due course. I've had a look at the passenger stock and updated 1 or 2 bits of passenger rolling stock. And all the big engines are out running again. This is, I think, Selby Hall. It might be Gilwell Park on the stopping passenger train, crossing with one of the 280s on the big coal train. There's been a number of changes in wagon consists because So having looked at it with fresh eyes, and I've come up with this passenger train that's sitting here in Trinity Square. This is all, it's stock I've had before, but I've made up a passenger train. So I'll leave you with a few pictures of things that I've painted and done. Thanks for sticking with me. Thanks for not abandoning me while I abandoned the layout for a month. Thanks for sticking with me. Stay safe, stay with me, and I'll see you soon.